Hey guys, it's Carl Brown from guitarlessons365.com. Today we're going to take a look at Don't Stop Me Now by Queen. So this one's obviously most of a piano song, but we're going to arrange those chords for the guitar, standard tuning here. Some of it moves around pretty quick. We got a lot of barre chords to deal with, and some interesting little chords as well. So, you know, when you're dealing with piano music, you're going to run into that a lot. So, but it's not that difficult to play. So we're going to cover all the chords in this one. And in the next one, we're going to take a look at Brian May's solo. Well, it'll be coming in a couple days or so. All right, so let's start here. Now, this intro is kind of the main chord progression of the song, except it's just really played really at like half time. All right, so let me just go through the chords here. We'll just go through a few chords at a time. We're going to start with the F major chord. Now, we're not going to be able to recreate every single little piano melody because, you know, there's two hands you can do stuff with. Here we have one hand and one to pick it. So we're going to have to just kind of deal with the chord structures mostly. So we're going to start with just an F major barre chord. Pretty common chord. That's a full bar at the first fret, second fret on the G, third fret on the D and the A. All right, then just an A minor. Then to a D minor. So I'll really only call out, you know, show you how to play the chords if they're kind of rare chords or maybe a barre chord. Some people aren't that familiar with them. So we have a D minor, and then we go to a G minor 7. Now, throughout the song, he'll vary it between going to a minor 7 whenever he goes to the G or just a standard G minor. So you can just use whatever you want. I switch back and forth when I'm playing it. So, but that G minor 7, if you don't know what that is, it's a third fret here on the low E. All right, and then you can just bar across the fourth string, third string, and second string with your ring finger. So you can mute the fifth string there with the bottom of your second finger, or you can mute it with the tip of your third finger there. All right, from there we're going to go to a C dominant 7 chord, which is just a standard C major chord, but then you add your pinky there at the third fret on the G string. All right, so I'm going to go through those chords. We got F, A minor, D minor, G minor 7, C7. Now for this intro at least, he keeps moving on. When he plays the verse all the other times of the song, he actually repeats that chord progression twice, but we'll get to that. All right, from there we're going to go to this. All right, so we're back at that F major chord. We're going to make that an F dominant 7 chord by lifting up the pinky and then lay it back down at the fourth fret on the B string. Now, you don't actually have to move it to the B string, but it sounds more like the piano voicing. You can just keep it lifted, and it's the same chord, but it just doesn't sound quite as close to the piano. So I would put the pinky there. That leads us to a B flat major chord. That's just the first fret on the A string, and then you can bar across the third fret on the D, G, and B string. So we have this. Back to the G minor 7. Then to a D7 chord. Now we can play that a couple different ways. We can play like here or here. He has the F sharp on top a lot in his piano voicing, so we're going to move it over here. It's just that open D string, then the A on the G string, which is the second fret, first fret on the B, and second fret on the high E string. Now to end this, we're going to go back to that G minor 7, back to the D7, and back to the G minor 7. So far from that F, All right, and now we get to that "Don't Stop Me Now" part, which has a different rhythm. It sounds like this. He goes back to kind of speeds it up there. So we're going to play a regular G minor there. I think it sounds better there. So we just have a full bar at the 3rd fret and the 5th fret on the A and the D. Just strum that and then release the pressure so it kills the strings. Then that same thing on the F major chord down to the C. So we have this. And then jump back to this G minor. Do it again. And when he gets back to the G minor the second time there, he starts strumming it. Well, he's not strumming, he's not playing guitar. And then we have C7 that we looked at before. Then we go through the same chords again. So now this time we're going to go through the whole progression that I did except for the very ending of it. And we're also, like I said earlier, we're going to repeat the first basic chord progression. So let me just show you here. We have the F to the A minor, to the D minor, to that G minor 7, and then from there we go to the C7. Now repeat. All right, so before we didn't repeat those chords, and now we are whenever the tempo is picked up. And now we go to that F to F dominant 7 progression, and now it's going to lead us to an ending of the verse. So that sounds like this. All right, so we had that little familiar ending there. So we're going to start here. We did the F to the F7 to the B flat, the G minor 7, D, so everything's the same there. But now instead of ending it with doing this, instead of going there, we went to this, which was just. All right, now there's full chords being played there, and there's a chromatic bass line with it. It's too fast, really, for you to attempt on the guitar to make it sound good. So I think it's better to play the first chord and then play the last chord there, and you're getting the bass line in there as well, which is the most prominent part of the line. So that starts with a G minor chord. Hit that a couple times, and then just go open A string twice, first string twice on the A string, 2nd fret twice. So we have this. And then end it with that C7 once. So slowly. All right, so that takes us to the chorus, which sounds like this. So we've seen some of that before. We're going to start with this. So I'm telling you, these chords do move pretty quickly, so it's a good chord workout. So we're going to start with that F to the G minor, A minor to D minor. So I'm just hitting the first three once each. Sorry. Kind of a lot of them on the upbeats too. So we have D minor to the G minor 7. Once again, you can use, if you want to just use a regular G minor, you can, or use the G minor 7 to the C7. All right, then we're going to do the exact same thing again, except instead of ending it with a C7, we're going to end it with that D7. So we have this. And then we go back to the familiar part we did earlier to end the chorus. to that C7, but so that's, we've seen that before in an earlier part. He's using it now to end the chorus, and then he adds this one extra chord to it, which is an A flat major chord with B flat in the bass. So that's just going to be, you can look at it like this: hold an A flat just like you did the F, but hold it at the 4th fret there. Now you're just going to move your first finger so it's just borrowing the top 2 strings, and then take the 3rd finger and move it over from the 5th string, on that 6th fret, over to the 6th string, the low E. So I'm muting that A string with the bottom of my 3rd finger. So I got this B flat here with an A flat major on top. And then we're back to the... All right, so he's going to be going through all of that again, the same kind of, into the same rhythm. And then it goes into that kind of a cappella part, and then Brian May's solo comes in, which is over the verse chords, the same of... So that little repeat there, that's what the solo's over. And then the vocals come back in when he goes to the F to the F7. All right, so we have the exact same thing. It goes through the same thing. It ends it the same, and then it goes to the chorus again, and it just ends with that, the end of that chorus, and then he goes back to the slow feel of the intro with a... I like to kind of pick across the chorus just to make it sound like the piano part. This is at the end. So in this part, the ending, he does it like the intro. So he doesn't repeat those chords. He goes straight to the F and the F7. And it just kind of fades out there. All right, so stay tuned for Brian May's guitar solo. It's a fun one. I'll see you then.